Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. Want to bring you guys a little update on Litecoin. This pullback's been working beautifully. This is what we've been talking about and expecting. And guys, I just want to tell you that further downside may be coming, and I just want you to be prepared and aware of that and plan for it, as well as the upside. Remember, we plan for the upside, the downside, and the sideways. And if you guys didn't check out my video from last night, the important message to Bitcoin, Litecoin, and just crypto holders in general, go ahead and check that out. It was the video with the bull and the bear on it. That was just a message from my heart to each and every one of you, so I hope you check it out. But we're going to get into this. If you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, trying for 100 likes in this video. You guys are killing it for me, and I'll just continue to put out videos the best that I can for you, and we'll get this moving. So we're going to start out with Litecoin on the 4 hour, and we're at $48.15 right now. We're down 1.87%. And what I'm seeing, at least, do you see how the price is continuously still moving up? Like this wave was moving up, but this is going down, and now you can really see we're starting to point down on the RSI on the 4 hour. And what we're also doing is we're losing this 20 EMA, which is really important on the 4 hour. Do you see this? How if we close below this, then most likely, guys, we could have a drop down to this range first, around $46.86. If that does not hold, where we kind of had this doji candle, then I would look for this 50 moving average on the 4 hour for a potential bounce. Each time we've gapped away from this 50, we've came back to it. You can see back in here where we had this large gap away from it, we spiked up, and then we came back to it. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we had a pullback into this area around that $46, $45, right in that range. Now, if that doesn't hold, then we'd be looking down around this area, around that $44. And this is what you do, guys, just work your way down. Then you'd look at this area here around $42. And then I would look right there around $40. Those are the spots to the downside that we'd be looking at. To the upside, we're going to have to get over $49.15. That's going to be a tough one to get up, along with getting back over top of this 20 EMA that we may lose here on the 4 hour. And then it would be getting up above that $51 or $52. Now, if we were to get up above that, then we would most likely have a shot at getting to this $56. This yellow line that I have is overhead resistance. Do you see that? But you know, guys, each time we've even gapped away from this 200-day moving average down here, we've always came back to it. So that's why I said it wouldn't even surprise me. I know some people want to strangle me for saying this because, you know, people get so emotional about this stuff, but I wouldn't be shocked to have a pullback to $38, where we could still lose $10. It could happen. Could we continue to push up from here? Absolutely. We could get a bounce off that 50 moving average and continue to move up. It all depends on what Bitcoin's going to do as well. I know Bitcoin's kind of been forming that little ascending triangle like on the 4 hour chart or whatnot. And if that actually does happen and we start to get a little spike or a little run, we definitely could come back up here and test around this $51. But right now, all the indicators, guys, the volume's falling off a cliff. You can see the RSI is pointing down. You can see we have lower highs on the RSI right there. And, you know, these are the things that I want to pay attention to, because if you back test this, each time we've gapped this far away, even from this 200-day, we've came back to it. Even in terms of falling, how we had these falls and we had this big gap here, we eventually got back to it and we flirted with it. So you're always going to get drawn back to this 200-day moving average in a lot of cases. So, you know, a pullback to $37, $38, whatever that is. So it's, let's see, it would be at $37.90. That wouldn't surprise me at all either, as a good spot to potentially go long. A lot of people look at the 4 hour chart. They're looking at the 1 hour chart, they're looking at the 4 hour chart, they're looking at the 1 day chart, and they're looking at the 1 week chart. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to bounce out, and we're going to end up taking a look here at this 1 day chart and see what those candles are starting to look like. But this is the reason I was telling you all, do not FOMO. When people wanted to buy it over $50, I felt in my heart, I looked at the indicators, and I figured that there would be a pullback, and that's what we're having. We're having a nice little pullback. You know, we're down $4 from this 52, whatever it was, guys, which that's a big deal in terms of, say you're buying 50 Litecoin or 25 Litecoin or whatever. You know, the difference of $4 can make a big difference in terms of how many Litecoin you're going to be getting or accumulating. So keep that in mind. So we're going to step out now to the 1 day chart. See this here. And if you like what we're doing here, guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Been really helping me grow, and I appreciate it. This channel doesn't exist without you all. So I just want you to know that I'm not saying that as a cliche. I really mean that. It does not exist without you guys. You are the ones who are here commenting, you know, giving thumbs up, everything like that. And I hope to get back to the comments from the videos yesterday throughout this weekend. I have a very busy day today. There's a young man who, and I don't want to get too personal, I won't say his name or anything, but there's a young man who my little sister was friends with from high school, and he was paralyzed in a car accident, basically from, like the chest down or whatnot. And he actually is starting a business today in like graphic design, where he uses a laser and operates it to, make inspirational things for people that you can hang on walls or engravings and all that type of stuff. So we're going to go and we're going to support his business today and just go in and check on him and make sure everything's going well, because I'm a person who I really love to see people start businesses. Everyone says nowadays, oh, you have to go to college, this or that. And guys, if you're not going specifically for something like nursing or, to be a doctor or engineering or somewhere it's specific, if you're just going for a business career, different things like that, there's so many ways that you can go about that without getting strapped with huge amount of college debt. When there's so much information available on the internet, there's so many books you can read, there's so many people who will teach you all this stuff, and you won't have to spend near as much money. And anyone who's starting a business, I'm just so proud of them, because they're going out on a limb. It's a chance. It's taking a chance. Like I said, I'm 30 years old now. I started my first business when I was 24 years old, and it can be life-changing for those who want to go after it. So we're going to support him, and we're proud of him. But that's why I'm not going to be able to get a ton of videos out today, most likely. I'm going to be doing some different stuff. But on the one-day chart, I'm still looking for a pullback to come and test this 200-day moving average. You see, it's looking like we may get close to a golden cross between this 20 EMA over this 200, which would be great, or they could kiss and kind of move sideways. But I do feel like we still need to back test this 200-day moving average before we potentially move up and try to tackle this $56.50. It's hard to go from, let's see, $32 to blast through the 200-day moving average and just keep running, guys. It has to be a stair-stepping process. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And that's what you're seeing when this trend changed. And remember, when you start to see this type of thing, remember how we had this huge fall here, but the RSI started moving up? That's that divergence we talked about, and we knew that price was going to continue up. Just like now, what we're seeing is that divergence's price is higher than it was here, but we're seeing a drop in the RSI. And what I would like to do is throw a trend line on here. So that needs to be broken for me. We need to get a break up out of that for me to be convinced that we're going to go up here and test this $56.50. But, I'm just expecting more of a pullback. Right into this area would be perfect. Perfect pullback. And that would land us between, let's see, $44, I think it was, and then the 20 EMAs at $43. So where we're having this convergence of those might be a good spot to potentially go long. And if we get a bounce off that with good volume, then we can maybe get over top of this $56. But remember, all this is going to correlate with Bitcoin. And I hate to say that, guys. I really want Litecoin, some of these things, just to completely break away. But, it's hard for Litecoin to break out if Bitcoin's not going to go along with it right now. Will that change in the future? Absolutely. I'm sure it will change. But, that's what you have to pay attention to. And all my books talk about that as well, that if you're in a stock and say you're in the Dow Jones or whatever, and Dow Jones itself's going down and you're in this stock, most likely that stock's going to get pulled down with it. And Bitcoin's is our Dow Jones. It's our big boy that controls the market. So am I telling you that, we're going to get up above 56.50 this time? I don't think so. I think we're going to have more pullback to come. And, you can already see it on the one-day candle here that we definitely could pull back onto this. So keep that in mind. Next thing I want to look at is the MACD and see how that's looking. And go through all these indicators, guys, when you're doing this on your own, and go through all the different time frames. So looks like the MACD's wanting to come back down as well. Do you see this? You see the histogram starting to tick down slowly, right? We're losing strength. And then the red lines are signal line, and it's looking like this white line is going to want to cross over top of it. And whenever you have that cross over top, you see right here, cross over top, then your price gets pushed down, your histogram gets pushed down as well. So say we weren't to get a bounce in this area, then we would look to $40, I would say, because that's where we had this nice spike up to that 200-day I was talking about, where we see rejection, came back down, we powered up like we talked about to get up over it. Same concept to get up in here, right? And then if these areas fail that I was just showing you, then I would look for this 50 moving average around 36.70. So the main thing that has to hold, though, for this semi, short-term trend change bull market that's happening for Litecoin is this slower trend line has to hold. That's crucial for us. And you know what? But maybe we're building this ascending triangle right here where we're bouncing around here. We wouldn't want to see more price action in here. You don't want to see a lot of like blank spaces. But if we're working in here and say we come back down in here, we're working up in here, and then eventually maybe we're going to pop through that top. Because with ascending triangles, what you're going to have are, one second guys, you're going to have higher lows on the bottom, and then you're going to have this flat top here. And what you do, you come to this decision point where we're getting higher, and we may hit this a couple times, hit it a couple times, and you're either going to break up through that or you're going to break down. 70% of the time from an ascending triangle, you're going to break up, 30% you're going to break down. And sometimes you can have broken patterns where you come up and then you'll fall all the way back through. I was reading more about them last night, especially with the ascending triangles and all that I did that tutorial on. If you want to learn more about ascending triangles, go back to my video about ascending triangles I did 3 or 4 days ago. But you can see how that's maybe a potential. How we get out of this is we work in this area for a while longer, and then we'll make that break to the upside. But without a serious back test of this 200-day moving average, which Litecoin's one of the only coins that is up above that 200-day moving average. Bitcoin isn't. I know that for sure. We're a good distance away from it. But volume's tailing off. I mean, you can take a look at the candles like we talked about, and you can just kind of tell that the upside push is not there right now unless some whale market maker comes in and decides, hey, it's time and I'm buying it, and the rest of the market's going to jump along with it. That can always happen. That's why I said I'm never going to say I'm a professional in this, because anything can happen. I can't control what a guy in Japan does with his millions of dollars. Even if it doesn't make sense technically, big money can still come in at any point. So always be aware from that. If anyone tells you I'm your cryptocurrency expert and I know this and this is what's going to happen, and they don't have a plan for the upside, the downside, the sideways, and they say my way is the only way, you need to get away from them very fast. I followed some bad people and taken some bad advice in the past, and I'm so glad that I learned how to do this stuff for myself. And a lot of the times, guys, the biggest mistakes I've made that I've learned is when I listen to somebody else. I'll have all my technical analysis, I'll go through it myself, then I'll go watch some other people and I'll see some of the stuff they're doing, and sometimes it affects my judgment, and a lot of times it's affect my judgment for the negative as opposed to the positive. If you get too many opinions, then you can start really overthinking things, especially with these technical indicators. When you have, a golden cross taking place here, but we have a bearish engulfing candle that's taking place, and you're having all these mixed signals, you don't really want to listen to too many people and their opinions. So be very careful with that, me included, guys. Next thing I wanted to do was go to the Bollinger Bands. Let's take a look at that, see if we're starting to pull back a little bit. So we're still kind of at the top here. But look, you can see the middle band is that red line right here. And that's the middle part of the Bollinger Bands. That's coinciding with all this as well. So that's where I said, guys, this $44, $45 may be the spot that we get a bounce from. I hope it's the spot that we get a bounce from. I don't want to lose the 200-day moving average, then get stuck back underneath that again, hitting it, and then all of a sudden we end up dropping back down, to this $30 range or something crazy where we come down and test a double bottom around 22. You just never know what can happen when you get trapped underneath that 200-day moving average. We're finally up above it. I want to see us hold up above it, get good volume, make a good strong move out of that. That's what's going to be most important. But like I was showing you, our RSI is down. Let's pull that back up on the 1 day. Take a quick look at that one more time. Yep, and it looked like we kind of had that. It's like a falling top here. You see that? And sometimes you'll get like the 3 falling lower high, so you'll have this one here, and then we'll come back up again and have another failure, and then you really drop off a cliff. That happens sometimes too. So you have to keep that in mind. But in terms of the RSI on the 1 day, we are still holding this. Let me show this. This is important. Right there. Let's see if we can get a bounce off that. So there's still more room to come down here, guys, before we would even break this trend line. Litecoin's one of my favorite coins. I'm not dissing Litecoin or anything like that. I'm just trying to talk to you guys about healthy market movements. It'd be easy for me to come out here and say, we're going to the moon, and get a lot of views and this and that. I'm not going to be that guy for you. If you want that to be that guy, then go to someone else's channel. I'm here to help people trade. I'm here to help people learn this stuff, technical analysis. That's what I do. So, you know, for those who want to be helped and really learn this stuff, I'm going to be here. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I'm going to be truthful with you. And, you know, guys, I'd rather say it's not blasting off, and it does and surprises people, than say, buy now, it's going up to the moon, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's down 8%, 10%. You know, I'm not your trade call guy, and I don't give financial advice, but I know some people like to try to tie that stuff in to people doing this technical analysis and say, you said this or you said that. I'm not going to be a guy to chase a coin. That's just me. You can do whatever you guys want to do. But that's what I'm seeing today, guys. We need to continue to hold these moving averages. It's going to be very crucial. We're going to have to see what happens. Not a ton of action today. We're at 48.21. And we're going to have to see if we continue to go down more or if we're going to go up. But this was the pullback that I was talking about, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. I know I was getting some flack when we were up above 52 or whatever and it stayed there for a couple days. But sometimes you just have to let things cool down. You got to let the RSIs and all that stuff cool down so you can make the next move higher. But that's just me, guys. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll maybe be able to try to get one more video out today. But like I said, it's just going to be a lot, very busy day, and I'm going to be on the move. So God bless you all.